A company will come to us and say, we need a full-time permanent chief science officer or CEO or retail manager. They'll come to us and ask us for that, and we find that individual, if we don't already have them, and present them to the client. We have clients all over the United States, Canada, Asia, specifically Thailand, and now Europe as well. So I'm very excited that we've been expanding. A lot of other countries are looking to the United States for our talent since we have been cultivating for quite some time. The biggest request that we do get outside of the U.S., if you're looking into international opportunities, is for cultivation and extraction. So if that's where your passion is, great. But we get requests for everything you could possibly dream of under the sun here in the United States. So anything from bookkeepers to welders, oh my goodness, marketing, accounting, finance, HR. So definitely cultivation, extraction, processing, labelers, you name it, we've gotten a request for it. Although the one thing I haven't gotten a request for yet that I got requested in other industries was a ghostwriter. So if you're a ghostwriter, I don't have anything for you in this industry, but I might be able to hook you up in another industry. So definitely, but as the industry expands and grows, I am quite confident we'll get requests for those as well. So would love to learn a little bit more about you all and why you're here and what your interests are. So if everyone could go around and say, you know, your name, if you are currently in the cannabis industry or just looking for new opportunities at this point in the industry, and then maybe what area that you're looking to bring your skill set to, or what a little bit about your skill set. So basically like your 30-second elevator pitch would be great. This is especially if for some reason you don't make it tomorrow to the conference, please, if you have a resume, get me a resume. That way we have it on our files.
I'm Justin Mason, and I'm currently looking for work in the cannabis industry. My interests are in cultivation, which I currently do for some small private farms right now, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Dana Dennis, a lead extracts, lead processor. I do extraction, distillation, and cultivation.
Erica Potter. I'm currently looking for work in the cannabis industry. I've done some temp work, but kind of open to anything. I've done personal grows, and I'm familiar, but of course not anything on the business side.
I'm Grant DeClaris, and I've recently returned from California, and I'm in cultivation and just trying to plug in here in Oregon State.
My name is Austin Johnson. I'm a plant health specialist at Proof Cultivar here in Portland. It's an overglorified title for an assistant grower, and I'm looking to get into more marketing and sales. That's where I'm probably best suited, but I have 2 years cultivation experience before this.
My name is Tammy, and I just came here with her.
My name is Jessica. It's so weird to talk on my phone. I'm just kind of looking for a job in the cannabis industry. I'm kind of a baby. I haven't really done anything yet. So, yeah.
My name is Derek Biddle, and I'm looking for an opportunity in the cannabis industry. I've been interested for a long time, and especially on the medical side of things, and it just seems like the place.
My name is Shauna English, and I'm interested in the cannabis industry. I'm not done anything in it yet, but I'm trying to transfer over.
Hi, I'm Barbara Feltz, and I'm a chef, and I'm looking for information on the infused side.
My name is Eric Losdens, and I'm looking to take 20 years of sales experience and transfer that over to the cannabis industry, and I'm here to learn more about all the different aspects of it. So growing, producing, or extracts, everything. I'm really new to it, so I'm here to learn and find a job, hopefully.
My name is Rose Medlock. I'm a content developer. I've worked in publishing and currently in the education industry, so I'm looking for something similar for, perhaps any tech company that is providing, services to cannabis businesses or marketing agencies, that sort of thing.
Hi everyone, my name is Tom. I've been a cannabis enthusiast for a long time, probably longer than most people in this room have been alive, but I'm interested in getting in sales. There you go.
Hi, good morning. My name is Jason Nunley. I'm a certified executive chef, just recently moved out from Nashville. I've got probably close to 20 years in guerrilla cultivation and extraction, subcritical and CO2, as well as extraction and post-processing. My background is also in sales and marketing. I'm looking just to get my foot in the door just about anywhere I can in this industry.
Hi, my name is William Baber. I've been working in the industry for a couple of years on the equipment wholesale side, looking to expand the experience working in inventory management and financial analysis.
My name is Janet Edwards, new to Portland, and excited to be here, exploring different industries, including the cannabis industry. My background is in administrative assistant work, but I'm really open to anything at this point.
Hi, my name is Lisa Snyder. I'm the founder and co-creator of Toketivity, a cannabis community for women. Our intention is to nurture a safe space for women to connect, learn, and to create. We've partnered with the Amazon TV show, The Marijuana Show, and we are looking for people who are interested in learning more about marketing, sales, community building, and investment training. We have Bud Camp, which is coming up on Monday. It's an online summit. And I'm looking to connect with anybody who's looking to learn more. I have a $100 off coupon, so come find me afterwards, and I'd love to talk to you about Bud Camp.
Hi, my name is Jeff. I'm not currently in the industry. Most of my background is in finance and risk analysis, but in my past I've done a little bit of everything, kind of jack of all trades, master of none, so I'm just kind of here to learn more and meet some people.
My name is Kevin Witkowski. My background is in food service. I've been a bartender and a barista, so I'm just trying to get into like sales or even just be a bartender, anything really.
Hi, my name is Brian Wagman. I have a background in food science. I have done mainly fermentation science from beer, wine, and even kombucha. I am trying to get more into the lab side and or maybe the edible side of the cannabis industry.
Hi, my name is Jill, and just looking to get anything I could into the cannabis industry. My background's been a variety of things: data entry, retail, mostly animation illustration. That's my main thing, but looking to explore new options with this industry. Now it's growing more and more.
Hi, Leanna Cox. I have a company called Soil to Oil. I'm currently working on getting in the OLCC system. Looking for a team, a dedicated team to work with. Also looking on the science end of cannabis and why it works and kind of getting healthy, not high.
Before we get to you all, we have a few others coming in. Where are the new folks? Just name and kind of, are you in the industry, not in the industry, what you're looking for? You probably caught the gist.
Hi, I'm Pavitra. I'm currently not in the industry. I have a PhD in molecular plant biology. I'm new to Portland, and I'm looking at options within the cannabis industry more towards the science and lab related stuff.
Yeah, welcome, great.
Hi, my name is Carla Kim and Amber Fiddler. We're from Cura, and we're here to talk about great job opportunities and talk about our company today.
Oh, thank you.
Is that Cura Select?
Yes.
All right, so bring up the presenters, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves. So we have a panel that's going to happen a little bit later on, so I'm going to have the panelists introduce themselves real quick.
Hi everyone, my name is Trista Opal. I'm the founder and CEO of Empower Body Care. I'm on the panel.
Hi everybody, my name is Samantha Montanaro, and I'm the owner of Prism House and the co-creator of Toketivity. I come from a background of graphic design and visual communications, and have extensive training in resume building and kind of presenting your best self the first time around. And also, due to my event planning and things, we've done quite a few workshops through Toketivity and Prism House for just career readiness and getting how do you kind of implement your skills, take your skills from your past job and bring them into cannabis. And look forward to talking with all of you.
I'm Eric Ogden. I'm co-founder of a software company called Weed Tracker. So it's regulatory compliance software for producer processors. That company is just over 3.5 years old, and I've moved on from that, recasting myself into the hemp brokerage world and investigating, getting involved in some international opportunities. It's interesting that Kara mentioned Thailand. They're now getting on the precipice of legalizing medical cannabis, which is a sea change in the world because they were profoundly against that. And also doing some operations consulting work with Grow Nutrient Company.
My name is David Nickham. I'm owner and co-founder of Pure Cannabis Consulting. I've been in the industry, regulated industry, since 2009 in Colorado. Moved out here to Oregon in 2015 because Oregon was very comparable to Colorado. I started the consulting company and helped with operations, licensing, standard operating procedures throughout the country right now, and entering the world market. So it's been very interesting and growing very fast.
My name is Michael Stanton. I've done sales for heritage cannabis companies for the last 3 years, and I've also held positions in cultivation, both as assistant and lead grower.
Thank you all very much for doing that. It helps to give us all an idea of what, maybe how to drive some of the conversation today and helps us understand what you all might be looking for. In addition, as you heard, our panelists have been in the cannabis industry, working in the cannabis industry, perhaps may have some positions in the cannabis industry, so it's good for them to know what your background and experience is in the event they may have an opportunity for you. So without further ado, I am going to introduce my business partner and Swiss Army knife, also known as the Chief Operating Officer for Viridian Staffing, and he is going to take it away here in just a moment when we get the PowerPoint working. So.
Hopefully. Took a second last time to come up. Wow, that's super bright. All right. Cool. So we're about to begin the PowerPoint presentation portion of the workshop. At this time, I would also call our panelists to the front. Oh, we're going to need another chair. Yeah. This is what happens when you're worried about not having enough people. Which almost happened. All right. Awesome. So, in terms of the format, we're going to be going through some basics, an overview of the industry, its various sectors, the opportunities, and pitfalls. of the industry. And as we go along, I encourage our panel to chime in where they feel they have something cogent to say about the particular topic. And as well as we'll be checking in with you guys periodically for any questions as well. If you get one that's like super burning and you don't want to wait till we actually solicit questions, that's fine. Just raise your hand and I'll be happy to call on you in due course. I apologize ahead of time due to some technical difficulties. I wasn't able to download all the files for the presentation, so the first half is solid, but we're going to go to more of a conversational format for the latter part. It won't be as visually exciting, but in terms of the content, I think you'll still find it very informative. Last call for anybody who didn't bring a pen or something to take down notes. We do have some up front. Does anyone want to raise their hand, or is everyone good?
I brought a pen.
Good. All right. So we've introduced and we met our panelists. Thank you all again for making the time to be here this morning. Again, my name is David, co-founder of Viridian Staffing, and we're very happy to do this presentation in cooperation with the Cannabis Collaborative Conference, who has provided the space and paid for the overhead to make this possible. So thank you to them. So the cannabis industry. Where it's raining money, right? Everyone knows. We're just bathing in the stuff. Like it's sick. Like I parked my Bentley outside. It's insane. So congratulations to you all. You're about to be fabulously rich behind your wildest dreams. You also get to smoke at work. You know, you just be high 24/7. And what's really cool is your hippie boss, not only is he okay with that, but he's likely to give you a promotion for ripping the biggest bong rip at work. So, congratulations to you all. Does anybody buy that? No. Good, because wrong. That's not the case. However, that is the mythology, and in some cases, yes, that is part of the industry's history. During a lot of the period with medical or pre-medical, because the regulations were more lax or non-existent in many cases, the fact that so many people that were drawn into it were either enthusiasts or patients. Patients, of course, needing to stay relatively medicated throughout the day, which is still possible here in Oregon, thankfully, if you do have a condition. But yeah, those days are rapidly going by the wayside. Like, it's just, it's not really, you can't keep pace in the current environment with that sort of mindset. And it's one of the major complaints of employers is, they keep trying to hire people that are enthusiastic about the industry, but for some reason their thoughts about the industry, their conception of the industry is outdated, or just completely wrong to begin with, and a lot of people are having trouble coming correct. Now, the good news for all you is if you understand that and are prepared to approach this like an actual business or an actual career, that gives you a tremendous advantage over those that are still stuck in the past. And people are being rotated in and out of the industry all the time for those sorts of reasons. So, welcome to the real cannabis industry, where by contrast, your boss is probably really stressed out about cash flow and wondering whether or not they could actually keep the business open. I know in the case of Washington and Colorado, it has been a very rough ride for many producers, processors, retailers, etc. Many have had a dark night of the soul of one sort or another, and many, even though they've been operational for years now, are still, wondering how they're going to make ends meet, how are they going to keep the employees they have. It's a very volatile industry. Now, it's not to say there aren't employers that are doing very well and they're very stabilized, but I would say that that is more the exception than the norm. Most business owners, people you will end up working for, especially if you're just getting in, are probably, dealing with a lot of different stresses. And if the good news with that is if you're in a position to solve certain problems for them or take certain stresses off of them, then you'll be a highly valued employee. Smoking at work. So yes, if you do have a medical card, Oregon does provide within its laws the ability for you to self-medicate, but you have to be in a tiny little room where no one else can see you. It's not party time, it's medication time. So it's not really a party sort of environment, and you can't, there isn't a provision for that unless you actually have a qualifying condition. Yes?
Also no smoking or vaping.
Right. Right. Yes. That is prohibited. You don't want to do that. You'll get your employer in trouble. And then, like I said, it's very volatile. So your experience of the industry, or at least that of your coworkers, of the people running these companies, will resemble that of the enthusiasm and terror you see on these people's faces. Now, if you are entrepreneurial, if you enjoy a certain amount of unpredictability, if you like that having a career where you're not entirely sure what's going to happen day to day, then welcome to the cannabis industry. If you really highly value job security and you want things to stay just the way they are, and you can't weather the ups and downs very emotionally very well, maybe this is not the industry for you. And again, caveat, there are companies that are well established where you can find that sort of thing, but those are very in demand, those positions with those companies. So, as somebody coming into it, and assuming most of you are probably new, you're probably going to have to take the opportunities you can get, and they'll probably be somewhere in the middle of the market. If not, some people that are kind of more on the fringes.
I'm gonna chime in here. So to help you guys understand a little bit why are cannabis companies riding this like crazy roller coaster? I was just at the National Cannabis Industry Association update and the Oregon Cannabis Association legislative updates, and the reason is the legal landscape is really difficult to navigate. And producers and processors are essentially test subjects for the states to be working this out. This woman sitting right next to me is well versed in this, but I think it's important for you as an possible employee to really understand that it's not necessarily of like, oh, we don't know how much weed to grow, or like whatever else. It's that this is literally changing so quickly that the second you kind of have something under wraps, the legislation changes. So I'm ancillary. I'm like just viewing this from the outside. I really see companies needing more people to help implement strategies to be able to ride those waves of the legal shifts.
Yeah.
It's also a flooded market. We have an excess of 600,000 pounds right now within the OLCC metric system. So we watched it happen in Washington when there's an excess amount of cannabis that the producers can't make very much on it. So they're lucky to get 50 cents a gram for that product. When that happens, there's a trickle-down effect. It starts with the growers and goes all the way to the retailers. Many economists are expecting half of the OLCC retailers that are in business right now to be out of business by the end of 2018. So I'm a little bit more optimistic than that. I think about 25%. But that's just a little glimpse into what it really looks like.
We're seeing the same here in Washington. That's where I work, and we've we've gone from over 1,000 producer processors.
Say the mic.
Sorry, over 1,000 producer
You can-
processor. Thank you.
Sorry guys,
It's all good. Down to less than 700 active running licenses right now. So that's a huge percentage of it. Yeah. From over 1,000 licenses to down to around 700 or less.
So this is where your professionalism and your skill sets and being really serious about those things, that is going to be the key component to getting you the job. Understanding the science of the plant and having a passion for the plant, and then being a master of your skill sets is going to help you get into those positions.
Yeah. Yes, the market is terribly volatile. We know, having gone through the entire experience with Washington, we founded our company before a single license had been awarded there. Whether it be just that the state just didn't know what to expect, or it was just poor planning or mismanagement. You know, when Washington launched, for example, there was a time when retailers were hanging on for dear life because there was no product. Your doors are open, you got overhead, you're paying employees and rent, but there wasn't enough product to keep the doors open. So retailers were getting pounded in the beginning. And now, as alluded to in Washington and now increasingly in Oregon, because there was poor planning in terms of the amount of supply on the producer side versus the amount of retail or just overall consumer demand, so many producers are now being forced to sell their product, at cost, at a loss. I mean, it's really ugly. So a lot of companies are going out of business or being acquired, and unfortunately, it seems like that trend is continuing here in Oregon. So a lot of business owners with a lot of problems, a lot of frustrations. And that's why I would emphasize throughout this, and I'm sure the panel would agree, nothing is more important in approaching this industry, and particularly if you're getting into the direct side of the industry, which thankfully is not your only option. In fact, you're probably even more likely to find employment within an ancillary aspect of the industry, and we'll get into that as well. Not to say that those companies aren't under their pressures as well, as especially if they're dependent on the cannabis industry and its ups and downs, but having the mindset and getting into the mind of the employer and kind of being an ally to them and thinking of yourself, even though if you are a standard employee, you are kind of a co-entrepreneur in the venture, if you will. You are there pulling with the rest of the team because you want to see the company succeed. And if it ultimately doesn't, well, again, it is still a rapidly expanding industry and market. If you develop good skills and a good reputation and good references, then that can serve you as you move on to another. And you may have to move through multiple different companies along the way, and that's just something that most of you are just going to have to accept going in if you're even going to approach this. So it's not all doom and gloom, though. Oh, just to sum this up, this tickles me to no end. A quote from The Stranger, which is the main weekly in Seattle. Quote, "While the cannabis industry isn't exactly a wet dream of worker empowerment, it's not exactly a smoldering garbage fire either."
Wow.
So, now that's a little bit old. That was a little earlier on in the experience by 502. I don't even know if Oregon had come online when that had started, but let's just say that the experience of workers in this industry is very diverse. I know some employers that treat their employees like family, and it's like the most wonderful environment you could possibly imagine.